Hello. You can hear me, can't you? Just one person just say, you can hear me, and then I'll be cool. Hello, everybody. Hello, Snickers. Hello, Random Bean. Hello, Mac Mooney, Random World Eater, Crazy Ribbon Lady, CC Nags, the Yorkshire Boomer. Brilliant. Thank you. Happy birthday for tomorrow, Jacob's Hat. Oh, wow. Happy birthday to you, Jacob's Hat. Kathy Sinclair, hello. Well, I am here. I'm actually doing a live. How bizarre. Chris, good morning. Well, it's good afternoon for me, but hello. Jacob's Hat. Jane Cobbs's hat. Yes, Jacob's Hat. Anyway, hello, everybody. I put a poll up. I can't check the poll because I left my phone somewhere else charging because I figured I wouldn't need it, on live, because that's a bit rude, checking your phone when you're on live. And my poll basically said is one of the reasons that Feedee was going to do the 12-hour stream on Sunday was because of Father's Day, which made me think of a very interesting point when it came to Feedee, and that is Father's Day. On Sunday, her sister will be celebrating Father's Day with Feedee's stepfather and their mother, Feedee's mother, obviously, and her half brothers will be celebrating, presumably, Father's Day with Feedee's actual father proper. And what's Feedee doing? Possibly being live from her house alone while eating. And I was just curious as to, does she actually think about this? Is it something she's aware of? Is she, no, I do not want to add ads, you naughty little studio. Do you think she gives the lack of content she has with her father, contact with the father, any thought whatsoever? I mean, a good proportion of her underlying problems. Sorry, Mrs. B12. My hubby had an accident, so I've been doing everything for him, and I'm now in a fibro flare. Thanks for the company. I am so sorry you're having to go through that. One, I hope that he is okay. Two, I hope that you and those you love and anybody in your little sphere are okay. And three, I hope the flare passes as quickly as it can. Kathy Sinclair says she never bothers with any holidays that involve giving to others. The thing is, the way she reacts to men and how she acts in relationships with men very much screams daddy issues. So the whole absent father thing has obviously affected her greatly. As you've noticed, people who seem to voted to her, Pete, don't get the time of day, Feedee. But if somebody is unattainable or unwilling to spend time with her or difficult to reach, such as Nada or Salah, she will cling onto them with her claws and not let them go. So it's obviously affected her. And I'm just wondering if, in part, her commitment to do a live on Sunday of all days, which doesn't make sense, really. Most of her followers presumably are also spending time with their family. Is she trying to get their attention away from their fathers, even? Maybe not consciously, but she's got the type of temperament and personality and the need for attention and the need to feel so important that it wouldn't be beyond her to subconsciously want to take people's attention away from their own fathers in a way, because she has not the attention of her father. I know it's a little bit possibly pop psychology and stuff, but it is worth thinking about because it has very obviously had a big impact on who she is as an individual. the absentee father. So Jane Cobb's hat, the way she talks about men and I wish she'd be claimed means most men don't want anything to do with her romantically. No, I mean her boast that she can get any man she wants, has changed. It's now I can get a hot man in a minute. It's not any man I want. Because the man she really wanted at one point was that Nicholas guy. She was absolutely besotted with him after spending 20 minutes in a car with him. And she hounded him to the point he just noped out. He noped out. And she still, for about 10 days, was really trying to get his attention again before she realized. The married guy she claims got so angry when he found out about Salah and this and that, when the fact of the matter is there was a live where Feedee went on and she got a message from married guy while she was on the live, and he said, "Don't fall in love with me." And she was really offended at that. She was basically saying, what's the point if he doesn't want to take it that far or that seriously? And so he wasn't, if you take what was said then, so angry at her being with Salah and going to go and get married to him, another Middle Eastern man, because he didn't want her to be serious about him. Yeah, she could get a man in a minute, but no offense, it's not exactly difficult to get a man if that's the only thing you're looking for. I mean, there are plenty of men whose standards incredibly dubious at best, and anything is better than nothing. So it's not really a brag that you can get a man in a minute. Seriously. Mrs. B 2019, after she supposedly met Nick in a car for 15 minutes, she said she wanted to have his babies. Oh, she was absolutely besotted with him after that 15 minutes. Absolutely. More than when she met Nada, more than when she met Salah. This guy, Nicholas, if he had allowed her into his home, she would have never have left him or let him escape. It would have gotten to the changing your name, your location, your entire identity. I would swear on my life for it. Empress of Cluck, a man can and will, if necessary, dig a hole in the ground. It's not a flex, Chantal. No, it is not. Crazy Ribbon Lady has been a member for 6 months. That is absolutely fabulous. I mean, there have been documented cases of men violating the corpses of small rodents. I've said this before. And yes, some men have confessed to digging a hole in the ground. And then there's people who work in morgues and etc., etc. It really, really isn't a brag. It's not a flex. Irish eyes are smiling. PC, do you think Feedee will return to Tinder days or will she hang on to fake romance for Salah? She will hang on to fake romance with Salah because her Tinder days would not be nearly as fruitful as they were previously. And that's bearing in mind that at least a good 50% of the encounters were fictitious. She is the domain on the dating, not even the dating, on the circuit of availabilities of those with particular requirement in the fetish type department now. And I genuinely believe that she finds, I legitimately think she is a Feedee. And, sorry, crap. Crusty Bee, to see, love your commentary. Thank you so very, very much. Very generous, brilliant, love it. She, in her delusional perception of herself, okay, when it comes to this being a feedie and fulfilling the wishes of these particular men, because they are men. Even Nina, I believe, is actually a man, because I don't believe it's original Nina. Crazy Ribbon Lady, thank you. Happy summer solstice too for us here. It's on the 21st tomorrow. And as you may or may not know, the summer solstice is in celebration of what is the longest day in terms of daylight of the year. And then after that, the days start getting shorter. Feedee, in her delusional state, given in how she perceives herself, with the filters and how she sees her size and her attractiveness and how nice she is as a person and how popular she is and how loved, I also think she sees the individuals that find her legitimately attractive and desirable, when the bottom line is it's not the person doing the eating that is the object of desirability, it's the thing they're doing, because they don't give a shit what kind of person she is or her personality or any of the things that make her up as a person. She is an object. Now, on some levels, if the feedee is also after not just the act of the eating, but a particular shape, then she might be desirable and sexy and attractive in those respects, but only from the neck down. It's got nothing about her face, nothing about her character, nothing about her personality. Again, she's still an object. And quite frankly, I have no desire and no enjoyment in thinking that anybody would perceive me as an object, which has happened. And quite frankly, it makes you feel really fucking awful about yourself. Empress of Cluck, member of 16 months, fantastic. Unicorn farts, 13 months, good grief. Crazy Ribbon Lady has a notification to see Stonehenge by 11 your time for sunrise. I've driven past it from a distance. It looked lovely. I will be moving somewhat closer to it, hopefully. So that's great. Ash E99, as I said all along, she has private feeders that aren't going to speak, but that is the only way she can afford everything. I mean, for every public feeder she has, she's definitely got private feeders. And that also ties in a way to her sudden retraction and panic about this whatchamacallit, to do with her prescriptions being paid for her, because she said she'll get a certain amount, and it's been calculated by people much more knowledgeable than myself. Milk tea, I doff my hat to thee. That means that she has greatly underreported her salary to get the qualification she says, and now she's backtracking it, saying actually it's only for the quarter, which is bullshit. Basically, in summary, Feedee, I'm not calling her Foodie anymore, she's Feedee Beastie, does the content she does and gets paid directly through PayPal, which is probably her greatest source of income, and she does PayPal at all. And she's panicking because we've realised, because we're not stupid. Kathy with a kicking K, 15 minutes, brilliant. Robin Eaglesong, oh gosh, I caught her live. All of her votes in the 12-hour stream was overwhelmingly for today. Being her oppositional self is tomorrow, lol. Yeah, because then Sunday she can say, in hindsight, doing it on Father's Day isn't really a good idea. I'm sorry, guys. Here's a 3-hour live of me on the sofa while I'm eating instead. She's never going to do a 12-hour live, because if she legitimately had a camera on her for 12 hours, she would expose the extent of her filth, her slovenliness, her gluttony, because we see her eat online, but she doesn't just eat online. We just see what she decides to show us. And if that's what she shows us, imagine what she keeps secret. It's unfathomable. I mean, this woman is currently gaining a pound every 3 days, roughly just under a kilo a week. It takes effort to do that. You know, when actors bulk up for a role, you know, they drink melted pints of Haagen-Dazs in addition to eating to gain the weight for the role. And Feedee does this daily just for shits and giggles. I mean, literally shits, not so much giggles. But this is her normal. And she thinks a meal is a double cheeseburger McDonald's thingy. 2 burgers with large fries and a drink. I haven't had McDonald's since before COVID. I haven't had a takeaway since the summer of 2022. I mean, it's unfathomable. If we hadn't seen it, don't see it with our eyes. It's incredible. Chris says we see the drift of family-sized fast food bags she leaves upon on the coach daily. I know it's in part, okay, I'm going to talk, trigger warning, about EDs briefly. And one of the definitions of an actual ED as defined, not a food addiction that has a whole different category by itself, but an ED proper, is secrecy. And the way she leaves the evidence all over the place, has no shame or anything about the bags on the side and the empty drinks there and the cartons on the floor. There's no secrecy involved whatsoever. So I don't think she has an ED proper in the actual psychological definitions of it, because she's no secrecy. I personally have one, and I go out of my way to be completely alone when I do it. No orgies, no kids, no nothing. And I hide the evidence. I hide it. You know, you put it in the bin, but in a carton in the bin, in another thing. You know, you make sure it's not something that accidentally falls out of the bin or can be seen through the plastic or is come across by accident at all. She has a food addiction, yes, obviously, very obviously, but that is a psychological issue of addiction in itself. An ED? No, categorically not. Mind my blues. I still cannot compute and understand how she gets enough money to pay her rent and lifestyle. Seriously cannot understand how it's possible. Feeder content paid either via Cameo, or I suspect Cameo is the front for people to ask her if they'd make feeder content. I'll get there. So somebody will send a Cameo and ask, will you eat a thing for me? And then once the messages are exchanged, they now have a line of communication, a direct line of communication. And that's from then on, they will ask, but to do it directly to them and not through Cameo, and she'll get paid directly to PayPal. She is financing 2/3 of her lifestyle doing feeder content, being paid directly through PayPal, which is being initiated by the person who wants the content through Cameo initially. You know, the business Cameos at $250. Mellow Maggot is 16 months. Brilliant. Empress of Cluck. Suzanne swears like a sailor. IQ of salad is a very telling way of asking that. I have obviously missed something. The ring light pointed to the bed is an absolute deal. Absolutely. I don't think it's done in a saucy manner, as in unveiled or anything, but it is a full makeup kind of thing. Now, I said it in the video I did previously that Ryder definitely, but he's very public about it. Ryder is not Anime Sucks, because Anime Sucks, as far as I'm aware, is broke and doesn't have that kind of money anymore. But this particular Ryder has a particular preference, let's say, items he likes to see being eaten, and that is desserts, especially with cream. I guarantee it. McMooney, I started thinking that she is using Salah to hide money from the CRA as well. He wouldn't be hanging out if he wasn't getting something. That is entirely possible. Entirely possible. The whole thing she says about when Salah sends her money, it goes through the guy who owns a money exchange, but who also lives in Canada, is complete and utter bullshit. They may be doing it that way, but there is no need to do it that way. Because as of March this year, the majority of banks in Canada now accept direct transfers from accounts in Syria. It's as easy as me sending money to my kid as a transfer from my account directly to them. Salah, if he has a bank account in Syria, can directly transfer money to Feedee, to her bank account in Canada, and vice versa. There's no need for a third person who owns an exchange to do that. So if she's telling the truth that that's how he gets money to her, it's a highly suspicious way of doing it, and not nearly as easy as directly transferring from account to account. And it's the sort of route one would take if one wanted to wash money, for instance. It's probably more likely that somebody with a large amount of money in their PayPal, bear in mind, I believe you can go to foreign exchange and pay from PayPal, possibly directly, so it doesn't go through your account. Say you went to an exchange and you had $1,000 in your PayPal. You give it to the exchange to give to the other exchange in Syria. Maybe that's a really good way of, her not having funds to declare even, and a good reason for Salah to stick around. Because quite frankly, Salah must know he will never get to Canada. He's only around paydays and when it's convenient, which, incidentally, tomorrow being the 21st, is the first payday of YouTube. And I've always been of the belief that Feedee gets paid on the 24th. Things are always happening around the 24th. So expect Salah to pop up probably during a live tomorrow. Ugh. Suzanne swears like a sailor. Can he visit Kuwait for extended periods of time if he's not working there? He has family there, yes. Also, if he left without any debts, actually, he wouldn't be allowed to leave if he had any debts. I mean, I personally think he was paid off by the perfume business to bugger off after Feedee attracted attention to herself and him by the authorities. His father's not there anymore, but he does still have sisters there, so he could just pop over and stuff. And as far as the Kuwaiti authorities are aware, now that Feedee's gone, that they got no reason to look into him. So yeah, he can come back and forth. How long he can stay for any period of time? I think probably up to 3 months. Yeah, he could easily be off if that was the thing. Do I think he is personally? No, I just think he's just doesn't want. He wants as little contact with Feedee as conceivably possible, while still maintaining to her the illusion of a relationship. Volga Shaka says, I think she has dodgy business dirt on Salah enough to keep him quiet. Yes, I do. I absolutely believe that as well. I think she knows about the perfume business being a front for something else, which I categorically, without question, believe with my whole heart that that's what it is. And that's why he was paid off and suddenly left. And I think she knows. I think she's probably kind of excited by the fact that Salah was a bit of a criminal type deal. But she knows enough about him. That is worse for him, his family, and everybody else than the fact that he likes certain bodily things and wants to desecrate certain religious symbols and do things of a less than consensual manner to foreign women. So it's what she knows about him is worse than that. Yes. And she would absolutely spill the beans if Salah didn't cooperate at least surface level enough for her beezers to believe they were still together. Salah is as sketchy as they come, yes. I mean, from the very offset, it was kind of fortuitous in some respects that when Salah found Feedee to romance scam, he found somebody as equally as dodgy as he. I mean, the likelihood was like minuscule. I mean, it's the only good thing he got from meeting Feedee was the fact that she's equally as corrupt as him, because quite frankly, what he had to put up with for all that time being physically in her presence and even remotely now, better men would have had our sympathies. But he's had to work for what he has gotten from her. He has put in the work. Of all the things you feel about Salah, you've got to give him some credit for sticking it out this long. I mean, he's dedicated to his end goal, absolutely. But now he's stuck. He's absolutely stuck. He has ample opportunity to make money by badmouthing Chantal if she was the reason his dodgy dealings came to light, yet he hasn't. She knows a lot about him. I mean, honestly, apart from the fact she supported his dodgy dealings and the things that we actually know about her, as in how horrible she is, how filthy she is, how manipulative she is and stuff, what can he possibly tell us that we don't already know or haven't already figured out? Apart from her involvement and her complicity and probably her help in his dodgy dealings. But that obviously is not nearly as bad as whatever the fuck it is he's done. He literally aged 20 years in the 3 years of being Feedee. I think, okay, he was always that decrepit looking, and he's just given up on filters. I think she has aged him, yes, too, but he was so highly filtered, and now without her physically being there half the time he can't be asked to use the filters, that the difference is so evident. But I think he wasn't nearly as polished and suave and whatever he tried to portray himself as in the beginning, as we were led to believe. And obviously Feedee didn't want us to know that he's got pock marks, doesn't want us to know that his eyes don't match, don't want us to know that he looks significantly older than what he claims he is. Because you've got to remember that Feedee, when she had that blanket round her and wore that silly hat when she first covered, said he's my age. I don't mean he is literally her age, but I think he's older than she and he claims as well. Risk getting in trouble in Middle East means seriously dodgy jails or a chance of death. Very different to be slapped in the wrist in Canada. Absolutely. Now, there is the death penalty in Kuwait, but it is for crimes of a treacherous nature or a terrorist nature or of a sexual nature. Financial dealings tend to have harsh crimes, but not death. Syria, I have no idea because I never looked into it, because obviously his dodgy business dealings, perfume-wise, are all Canadian-based. If I remember rightly, if he was charged with having pornography on his phone, that would be 10 years. If he actually committed an act with a woman he wasn't married to, that's about 10 years. If he had an act with somebody of the same sex, that's actually death in Kuwait, by the way. That's just things I know off the top of my head. So he wouldn't survive in jail. And I don't know about Kuwaiti jails per se, but what I know of jails in some Middle Eastern countries, they are inhumane, I think is the best word I can put. Absolutely inhumane. Not an experience you'd want to go in for even a day. Beck Nelix, I heard him admit his true age 42 about 2 years ago in Kuwait whilst on a birthday stream. That would make absolute sense, to be honest. I mean, Salah for Feedee in the beginning was just a vehicle to make Nada jealous. And so being younger and hotter, i.e. highly filtered, and a businessman with his own car, his own apartment, served her very well. The fact that he's obviously a romance scammer, not who he said he was at all, doesn't even look like what we were led to believe he looks, because you've got to see, we never saw him on anything but Feedee's phone with her filters, so he was filtered to the nth degree as well. And we've just seen him when he did his things from Syria. He didn't bother with the filters, and we just saw the reality. Plus the compound effect of 3 years with Feedee. He laughed and said, Feedee, we are the same age. Oh. Yeah, I would believe that. He looks it. From what we saw before he disappeared, he looks it. If Salah gets to Canada, it won't be through Feedee. He's probably looking for another mark now. He's invested too much time in Feedee, and he will not go on to a second mark seriously until she disappears, in a permanent way. Because while she cannot get him into Canada, she's at least financing him in a way that means in Syria he's living like a fucking king. He's fixed up the house for his dad's house on her dime. He's running businesses on her dime. He is setting up his family on her dime, which is almost as good as coming to Canada and setting yourself up to provide for your family back home, which is the point he wants to be in Canada in a way. So it's not exactly his goal, but it still goes towards fulfilling his goal. He's going to continue trying, but at the moment, Feedee has things on him that has kept him stuck. So while he's probably not actively looking for his next mark, I also believe he is communicating with other women to fulfill the other part of his needs that Feedee definitely doesn't fulfill. Because she definitely doesn't, no, categorically not. He said he didn't like skinny women. There's a big difference between not liking skinny women and preferring super, super, super morbidly obese women. Huge difference. Not the same thing at all. He likes curvy women with large. And Feedee's not curvy. No. Volga Shoulder said, I'm sure he can live better in Syria than Canada with the cost of living. Absolutely. I mean, I can't remember the exchange rates, but average salaries there are $20, between $20 and $120 a month. And if she just gives him 100, he's there. Oh, thank you so much, Barbie C. Oh, that's really sweet of you to say. I think there's a lot of family feelings of familiarity and companionship, and it's a very cozy corner of the internet. I feel it's very supportive. No pleasantness. Polar opposite of somebody else. Absolutely the polar opposite of somebody else. Susan swears like a sailor. What do I think is the deal with Teardrop in her stories? Are they real life? No. I think she is a wretched individual. I do think she probably doesn't have the kind of life any of us would want to wish on to our worst enemies. But I think she has, it used to be called Munchausen's, but it's now called factitious disorder. Now, I'm not saying she has factitious disorder with her ailments, but I think she's very much inclined towards that direction, not just with illnesses, but with a life that is hard in general. She does not appear on a single stream without some shit happening to her. And no matter how bad your luck is and how wretched your life is, every day a family, somebody's dying, somebody's ill, somebody's had an accident, something's burnt down, there's a tornado, it's incredible. It is incredible. It's like the worst written fan fiction on the planet. This woman cannot literally exist. If everything is true, she must be the most wretched individual on the planet. Seriously. She should be studied as well. Statistically, the amount of things that happen to her, the amount of things that are wrong with her, the amount of things that are wrong with her family is just astronomical. Teardrop is also a liar because she said she's bedbound and then turned around and said she went to visit her son. She went to do this with her daughter. She babysits the kids all the time. I know. I mean, I wouldn't, if I had young children, I wouldn't leave them with somebody who wasn't physically able to look after them. Doesn't say much in my opinion of me as a parent if I wanted to leave my young children, their babies, with somebody who couldn't physically look after them. It's bizarre. It's bizarre. The only part of Teardrop's narrative that I'm willing to believe, because obviously I don't hold her in very high esteem, is all the neglect of her animals. I believe that categorically, because that's a really weird thing just to throw into a conversation. Is my dog ate some kittens. That's very, very, it's one of those things that's so horrific and so horrendous it's got to be true. I mean, no, it's not a lie. You can just think up and throw out and think, yeah, that's a good story to tell people. I mean, yeah. I may not have the most exciting life on the planet, but I cannot overstate just how grateful I am I'm not Chantel. I know. It's weird that there are times when things are really difficult. Every so often, it goes across your mind and says, well, at least I'm not her. it does actually offer some sort of comfort. Nid's puppy. Oh, hello, and welcome to Phat Cow's only brain cell. It only works on occasion. The keto cross stitcher says, I presume Solar is actually pretty smart in the respect that he's letting Feedee finance his business in the house because he knows that she's never going to return. No, I mean, and to get everything back to a level and the infrastructure and everything to a point where, you know, he's in a very much better state than probably everybody else in his village. You know, she has set up their family, not necessarily him per se, but the family at large for life. So she's done some good in the world in a weird way. She's got scammed doing it. It's not out of the goodness of her heart or anything, but, you know, there is some positive left in the world because of Feedee. And that, you know, and we've all managed to collect together and gather together because of Feedee. So, you know, there is some sort of to her existence. PC, I'm live in the ME, Dubai, and know Kuwait very well. I do recruitment for major banks in there. Very familiar with the visa role. I believe Salah paid the perfume business to get a visa for himself. Yeah, I mean, because he had to be working, didn't he? And they do seem to be friends. So there probably was family connection in some sort, or through his father or anything. We cannot make Chantal take care of herself, but we can take care of ourselves. If she triggers you, limit your time with her nonsense. Yeah, there's many times that you have to step back from Feedee, or her chat in general, to be honest. Even if Feedee isn't doing much, if you read her chat intensively for long enough, it can really mess with your mental health. Hi, Auntie Fee, you look great. Very late here in Australia, just popping in to give love to you all. Hi to Australia too. I spent some time there in 1997 in New South Wales. Did some fruit picking. Saw is it echidna walking down a street once. Had a shower with an incredibly venomous spider, and had a big hunter spider fall on my lap from the visor in a car. Pulled down the visor as I got in, and it just, this huge spider the size of my hand just went plop onto my knee, and I didn't make a sound. I just pushed it out because the door was still open. So that was impressive. I would have screamed my head off now because I'm so easily startled, not because I hate spiders. Fat squirrel, her eating herself to death could be Munchausen's, like because she's making herself ill, or could be addiction, which is often co-occurring with personality disorders. It's definitely addiction. She is so food motivated, absolutely categorically. I mean, that story she said about leaving the lab before getting the blood works, it wasn't because the atmosphere was bad. And she's played what she claims as a recording of the man talking towards the end, which I believe is just a recording she's gotten off the internet, probably from a TikTok or something. It's funny how it suddenly appears to prove her claim. But, you know, she mentioned that the reason she left was because she didn't want to wait. I mean, why she didn't want to wait, but the reason she didn't want to wait was because it was cutting into the limited amount of time she had with her family. And it wasn't because she wanted to spend time with her family, it's because she wanted them to buy her lunch. She was missing the opportunity of being able to sit in a restaurant and have food paid for her, given to her. And that's why she couldn't wait long enough for her blood test. Plus the fact that she hadn't eaten within the first hour of waking up, because she's definitely only had been awake an hour. It's about 30 degrees here at the moment. Slight breeze, not too hot for pups. It's hot here. It's muggy here. And it's going to be a really hot week, which I'm not looking forward to at all. Chantal probably be looked into more often if law enforcement officials didn't say if this, retiring on mental health grounds after having read and watched her crap. There is no way she passed it for like 12 hours. It's not physically possible for her unless she's asleep. Went to bed, got up only when she knew her family was in the vicinity and about to pick her up, and just left. Um, I don't know. I mean, she's useless in terms of her health. She's there is a situation that I can foresee in what little time she has left, where she's going to have any vague semblance of a redemption arc in any way, shape, or form. I don't think that we will even see one successful, legitimately successful, not self-reported successful day from now until the end. Not one successful day health-wise at all. It's not physically or psychologically possible for her at this stage. Not at all. Ooh, cowboy dog. Hi. Love your channel. Brilliant. I'm so glad that even though my life has gone to shit, I have a life, lol. I know. The fact that she accuses us of not having a life is quite preposterous. I mean, I don't go out much, and usually when I go out it's for chores or groceries. But taking kids. I've no school runs for me until September, so that's good. But I still have a quality of life even indoors that is not comparable to is her life indoors, and my life indoors are not even remotely the same. I mean, I have hobbies coming out of the wazoo for a start. I actually do things that I consider enrich the brain, prevent Alzheimer's, and you do quizzes online or play games every so often. You create things, you draw, you watch educational stuff on YouTube, not just reality TV or what other people are saying about you and stuff like that. She doesn't do a single thing that would stimulate anything in her brain. One, she doesn't do anything that activates any neurons in any kind or passes the time in any way that's even vaguely beneficial to her. She just eats, sleeps, and vents. Becca Nelix, my son's a special needs teacher and his countdown is on his summer break. Yep. Summer holidays. They felt so long when you were a kid, but as a parent, not nearly long enough. I'll tell you that much. Do you think she'd respond to therapy at all? What kind? It would have been like heavy psychoanalysis? No. One, it has to be inpatient, so she can't run away from it. Two, I think she'd lie. And she has basically categorically said on numerous occasions, I don't want to talk about my childhood. Doesn't want to talk about her childhood, which is where the issues start from. I don't think she thinks therapy works. One, I think she does not hold therapists in high regard. She says she's gone to them numerous times, but at the end of the day, they want her to talk. I mean, therapy, in essence, is not a psychotherapist or a therapist telling you what to do. It's getting you to open up and talk out loud until the answers come to you in a kind of way and they guide you and direct you. If you say something that's quite pertinent, they encourage you to talk about that more. And the realization comes from within to a greater part. And she's incapable of looking within and making realizations because of her delusions and how she sees herself and how she doesn't see herself as being nearly as broken as she is. And her refusal to acknowledge the plain facts and the simple things, and the way that she has literally whitewashed her existence to be in her head this certain idealistic portrayal of who she is, and her refusal to face reality in any department. I mean, health-wise, looks-wise, success-wise, popularity-wise, romance-wise, even to the extent that she legitimately believes her cat loves her. She categorically has made a conscious decision, to the point that it's now unconscious, to not see the negatives in her life that are of her own making. She can very much see any negatives that happen to her as a result of other people, the haters and stuff. We're very quick to be blamed for things that go wrong in her life. But anything of her own creation in terms of negativity, and by her current you know subject of obsession romantically, also gets kind of blurred, filtered. She has a very filtered life. We see how she filters herself online, but what we sometimes fail to understand is that's the lens for which she sees herself and her life and her popularity and her character and her appearance and her lifestyle and her relationships. It's the same filter, but she has it in here. It's a dysmorphic view of life, but a reverse. So instead of seeing everything worse than it is, she sees everything so much better than it is, with the exception of her haters and reaction channels. That she sees not realistically either. That is seen through a much more negative viewpoint, because she fails to acknowledge at the end of the day, we actually encourage her not to do stuff. We don't tell her to eat. We don't encourage her to smoke. We don't encourage her to not go to the doctors. Her beesers do all that, but when the beesers do that, she doesn't see them as being enabling or doing things that are harmful to her. I see reactors giving her advice and not encouraging her, but at least not telling her to do stuff that's worse for her. So apart from haters and reaction channels and other women in girl world and tree ladies and anybody who's even remotely a threat to her in terms of her significant interest at the time, is seen through the same filters she very readily uses on her computer and on her phone. But it's with her 24/7 in her brain. And she would have to remove the filters for therapy to be successful. And she's unwilling to, because she does not like anything that requires effort. And she's unprepared, ironically, to live in discomfort. The irony being, obviously, the way she lives her life, the deterioration she's gotten into, is actually left her chronically uncomfortable. Have you noticed that FB apparently seems to think that everybody is as beast as her, or at least shares her views on food? She uses the royal you a lot when talking about weight-related annoyances. Yeah, that's because, as far as she's concerned, we are the same size as her, because she doesn't see how big she is. And whilst she might go as far as to acknowledge I'm not as big as she is, she doesn't think it's by much. The same way that she cannot see that Shani, although only being 20 pounds or whatever lighter than she is not as big as her, because Shani's 5'10". And it's not even comparing Shani to the number she legitimately is. It's the number she's decided she's happy to admit to. So she thinks we're all as big as she is because she legitimately thinks she's so much smaller. It's reverse body dysmorphia. The same as what Amber Lynn said when she says, I look at the mirror and I look at pictures of myself and I legitimately think I'm smaller than I am. I know I think I'm smaller than I am. I've never had that. I find the whole idea of looking at yourself and thinking, I presume see, the thing is, I look in the mirror and I think I'm big. But is that because I know I'm big? Because I am big? Or is my brain telling me I'm bigger than I am? Because as far as I'm concerned, I see myself as I am. So I don't know if I see myself bigger than I am or not, because as far as I'm concerned, that, it's really confusing. So the idea that I do know that when I was a lot bigger, I didn't realize I was bigger. And it's only now that I'm smaller than I was that, one, I can acknowledge I was bigger, and two, I now have no idea. Still working on it though. That's all I can do. Whatever the reality is from what I'm seeing, I'm still working on it. Got another 20 kilos or so to lose. So let's just try and work in that direction and then see what the end result is, I guess. Fat Squirrel, thank you for that. Explained it very well. I understand. I don't know what Fat Squirrel said. So the thing is, I can't read chat and talk because then I lose my plot and what I'm saying disappears instantaneously if I'm distracted. She should be 3 people. Yeah, she's also, you've got to take into consideration that she thinks we deliberately post the unflattering pictures of her. So when she's seen in the wild and somebody posts a picture of her as seen in the wild and how she actually looks, she thinks we've deliberately gone out of our way to look for the most unflattering picture amongst the whole lot, and possibly even messed with it to make her look worse. So she doesn't see a legitimate image of herself and acknowledge that's how she is. She thinks we've done something to it to make it look worse. I hate looking in the mirror. Since menopause, I've gained weight. People say I'm small, but I feel like a manatee. I very, 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 very rarely will look at myself from anywhere there below. I'm up here. I do not acknowledge what goes on in the bottom half at all. I don't mind my menopause weight going. I just hate my cortisol belly. I hate my stomach so much. I have a fupa. I have a fupa, and it doesn't defy gravity. And how I feel about it is unlike my feelings towards any other body part at all. At all. But obviously, I used to be 25 kilos heavier. Of course, something's going to be a bit droopy. I'm not made of elastic, but still, I can't stand it. I feel as though I'm 350 pounds. I've been 180 for over a decade. Even though I'm buying smaller clothes, it's very bizarre. And gravity has not been kind. Gravity is not kind. No, gravity is not. No, I hate my belly too. Yeah, no, honestly, I thought I was unusual in my dislike of my belly until I was talking to some other women in direct messages from Twitter a long, long time ago, to which I admitted that I've even daydreamed about cutting it off myself and tried to figure out how it would be possible to do so with lidocaine and surgery sutures and things like that. And I admitted that, thinking it was a really, really bizarre thought process to have. And 2 other women have said, I've thought about cutting it off too. It's not that unusual a thought. I mean, the feelings we have towards our respective body parts are that extreme, that you do daydream about, getting kidnapped by some person who, for some reason, wants to do cosmetic surgery on random strangers, and then you get dumped a month later, and suddenly you're all sort of rejuvenated for some bizarre reason. Nobody else has had that daydream? No? All right. I'll go now. Gravity is even less kind when you have naturally stretchy skin. I've had a tiny but very clearly defined apron since my 20s. Do you have Is it EHS? EDS? EDS? You have hypermobility. I have it. You can tell by my thumbs and various other things. Plus side, if you do, apparently we look younger for longer. If that's any consolation at all. Sure, our joints hurt and things like that, but still. EDS, that's it. That's it. EDA, yeah. Do you think she'll follow through with the medical appointments all she's done? She's not. Absolutely categorically. She said that because the doctor wants to do one thing at a time, and I can guarantee it's not in the order she wants these things done either. She said she would have to make appointments every 2 or 3 days. Come on, she doesn't even make it every month. Her blood test could possibly get done, possibly, if she legitimately has somebody come to her home. And I think not all of them will be, because I think she'll forget to fast. So some of the tests won't be able to be done. And even then, once the results come in, we are only going to hear about some of them, and she'll do nothing about it anyway. She'll just say, she's going to go to her grave saying, I have a date in mind to start my reset. I have a date in mind, because it's never tomorrow, is it? It's always a Monday or the first of the month or this and that. It's never tomorrow. Now, I'm of the philosophy that if you are trying to create a habit, or if you are on a diet and you fuck up during the day, it's not an excuse to just ruin the rest of the day entirely. Like, if something bad happens in the morning, is your entire day ruined? No. The day can be segmented, it can be quartered or halved. So if you have a good morning diet-wise, you muck up in the afternoon, it isn't an excuse to eat with impunity for the rest of the day. You could say, okay, I fucked up this moment. This meal was a fuck up. My next meal can still be good. I don't have to wait tomorrow to try again. I can get back on the bandwagon immediately after a fuck up. Just as if something bad happens in the morning, I can allow myself to be affected by the bad in the morning, but it doesn't mean, unless obviously it's something huge, that I have to allow it to make the rest of my day a bad day. I can't say, well, that's my day fucked now. You've still got like 8 or 9 hours left. You can do a reset and just carry on. So you don't have to wait to start until tomorrow. If you decide you need to go on a diet, don't go, well, I'll start tomorrow because I've got to eat all the food in my house first. Or, I'll buy new stuff tomorrow, whatever. You can start the minute you decide. You don't have to wait to start fixing your life or looking at life more positively. You don't need a start date. You can start the minute you decide that's what you want to do. But having food funerals and putting things off is just wasting the time you could be doing the thing. The black and white thinking of oops, I ate the cookie, guess I fucked is so, I never understood it, but it's such a clear marker. Do someone who's not going to succeed, of someone who's not going to succeed. Or like my hubby says, I have to wait until Thanksgiving to lose weight because I'm going to have turkey dinner. Yeah, but think of all the things you could do around Thanksgiving dinner. Okay. That would offset the dinner. So after Thanksgiving, you're not worse off than when you began. You could be at the same point or better off even. I mean, I am struggling diet wise. I am struggling because I am very much the sort of person that when I feel, the irony being, because I have chronic fatigue, I always feel tired. But when I am especially fatigued, my body, my brain decides that if I want to be less fatigued, I should eat something for energy. And it just becomes this all-consuming idea. Eat something, you feel less tired. Eat something, you feel less tired. Not consciously, no. But something happens. So I am struggling big time with my diet currently. It also doesn't help that while I've got lots of healthy food, I have younger individuals whose food choices aren't so healthy. So there is opportunity to fall off said wagon. And currently, today, for example, I ate some meat for the first time in 4 months because I'd made the decision to be vegetarian. But I brought this dish for my youngest and they didn't like it. They took literally one bite and that was it. And well, this isn't diet related. This is a case of, well, I spent money on this meal. And while it's not in line with what I'm trying to do, I'm not in a position to waste food financially or anything like that. So I had it because if I could have fed it to ducks, I would have saved it for tomorrow and taken it to the ducks. It's not something I can give to my cats because of onions and things, and the same with any other animals. And it would pained me to throw it away. Literally pained me to throw it away. And so, yeah, I did the thing. I'm not happy about it. I feel like I've eaten a brick. But I don't know where I'm going with this. But we make choices and then we move on from them. I did the thing because I felt I had to in a way, but now I'm going to go immediately back on trying incredibly hard not to eat meat. It was a exception because of circumstances. I don't feel great about it. I'm trying my best, and trying is better than, not doing it at all. Just because I did doesn't mean I'm going to continue for the rest of the day. A blip happened. You move on immediately. You don't allow it to nullify your efforts. Shit happens. Things happen. We get tempted. We get stressed. You have a bad day. You move on. It's the only way to move forward. And the thing is, Foodie can't. She's always planning for things that to happen. She even plans to plan. Foodie doesn't try. Foodie tries to try. It never gets anywhere. It never amounts to anything. Nothing with Foodie, regardless of what she says, is going to change. She spends loads of money on food she's not going to eat by telling herself she is going to eat it tomorrow. But then tomorrow comes and she doesn't want to eat it. She wants the fast food. So she's throwing money down the drain when she's just simply got to be realistic. Just be realistic, Foodie. You'll be much happier. Don't spend hundreds of dollars on health food. Just admit to yourself you wouldn't eat it. There are people struggling to feed their kids, and you're buying food you know you're not going to eat. It's indecent. That's what it is. It's indecent. She has a platform where she could raise money for charities easily. She has had the opportunity to do money raising streams for specific charities since she had 10,000 viewers. For years, she could have been doing something with her channel. But if it's not self-serving to her, it doesn't matter. I am very far from getting 10,000 subscribers currently, but I promised myself, the first thing I do is a charity live stream. The first thing I do, because I have the opportunity. I'm not being like, ooh, look at me kind of thing. If the opportunity to do it is there, I'm going to fucking do it. I mean, that's what people do, isn't it? It's what people should do, isn't it? Yeah, she's there just throwing money at things she knows she's never, ever going to use. It'd be like me spending $100 on a pair of high heels because maybe one day my back will be good enough to walk in the bloody things. The answer is no. My back will never be good enough. And so that would just be wasting money. She knows she's never going to go on a health kick. So why spend the money on that? She might as well, in all honesty, live out what she's got left. Glory days. Actually having happiness and joy. You know, the literal pig in shit, the pig in muck. It would be authentic and honest and should be happier and it's realistic. Go out with the proverbial bang, Foodie. Stop this crap you keep talking about. We're bored of it. You're bored of it. Nobody believes this shit anyway. Jane Cobbs Hatch, she's the only person to gain weight in a country with food poverty. I know. I legitimately said when she first went to Syria that despite all the risks and everything, it might be the one thing that could save her life. And boy, was I wrong. I don't know. Louis Vuitton. No. But thank you, Crazy Ribbon Lady. I could not justify spending that amount of money on something I wear on my feet. I don't understand spending thousands on watches or thousands on a piece of jewelry. I could, if somebody gave me a ring that was thousands and thousands of pounds, I'd be too scared to fucking wear it in case I lost it. So what's the point? I am not a luxury item girly pop. You know, I don't understand the $1,000 handbag type things. I don't. Who wants a gold-plated toilet? You know, it's mind-blowing. I'm one of those people that if I ever won the lottery, I wouldn't be rich for long because I'm be giving it away. I'm not going, oh, look at me, I'm so benevolent, blah, blah, blah. I love giving gifts. I buy presents for my kids all the time. And when I buy birthday presents for people, Christmas presents for people, or Yule presents for people, you can guarantee they'll get them within a couple of days of me buying them and not on the actual date because I'm so excited about giving it to them. I always give presents early. I can't help myself. And, you know, my thumb suddenly hurts. Why does my thumb suddenly hurt? Stop it. Sorry. Ow. Spooky dooky. As my brother says, no matter how luxurious a watch, car, or TV, etc., you can still tell the time in the same watch. Exactly. Up until a certain point, okay, $100 watch and $1,000 watch can only... There's only so many gadgets and whatevers and things you can do. And then after that, it's all surface decorations and stuff. I don't want a fridge that can, you know, tell me what the time is. I have a phone that can tell me what the time is. I don't want, you know, smart things. I don't want a smart house. Who wants a smart house? It sounds awful. It sounds really awful. I mean, who wants to spend £1,000 on a pair of knickers when at the end of the day you put them on your bum and that's it? What's the point? Unless these knickers suddenly turn me into a size 10 and make me look 20 years younger. I'm not, you know, there'd have to be some really miraculous knickers, is what I'm saying, to justify spending that much on them. I feel like £100 price point applies to all goods, even when it's not every £100 bag of shoes that lasts as long as it should. No, I mean, a car's a car at the end of the day. It gets you from point by A to point B. I mean, how many things do you need your car to do for you? I don't trust self-driving cars, by the way. The idea is not comfortable. But, you know, it's... Ugh. Shout out to dumpster diving as well, what people throw away. Exactly. Exactly. And these people that buy a new car every year. You don't need a new car every year. Cars last a really long time. It's mind-boggling. If £1,000 knickers can cook all my meals, clean the fat, and bring me coffee, then I want it. I'm not interested. Give me a Roomba that can not only sweep the floor but put everything away as well. Yeah, and do the dusting. Why hasn't anybody invented a machine that does the dusting for you? That would be handy. I'm not happy with the dusting. I wish I had the guts to dumpster dive. I pick up things off streets that people put out, especially chairs, armchairs. People throw out really good armchairs. I don't have a single chair in my house that wasn't retrieved from the side of a street. There you go. I admitted it. Actually, only one piece of furniture in my entire downstairs is new. The beds are new because beds should be new. But yeah. Thrift shop, charity shops, thrown away. Anyway, we always have people ask us how we don't own a mortgage and have a fully paid off house. We tell them only necessities. Yeah, I mean, car boot sales and international food festival tomorrow for me. Car boot sales, yeah. Speaking of car boot sales, car boot sales is one of the ways I'm going to get rid of a lot of my stuff. We have categoric. I can't say it. Categories. It's not categories. My brain's farting. Okay, Belle. Thank you. Oh, bless you. The fur babies are mostly great. Rocky, my particularly anxious cat, is not stoked with all the changes going on with things being thrown away and moved and packed and stuff. Bless her. No, there's no shame in secondhand furniture at all. And as they said, people throw away the most ridiculously, perfectly decent things as well. Decide they're not, it's ridiculous. It's so wasteful. I don't. There isn't an item of clothing that I own that isn't either thrifted or at least bought when reduced. I don't pay full price for clothes. And a lot of the times it's charity shops as well. Be careful donating to Goodwill, Purple Heart, etc. These companies are taking the donations to the garbage dump. Oh, that's awful. So yeah, the plan is there's stuff you throw away categorically. And then there's a hierarchy of stuff to keep, stuff to sell on eBay because collector's item stuff to sell at boot fair, mostly like plushies and stuff. There's about 500 plushies in this house, and then stuff to give to charity and then throw away. Happy summer solstice and birthday to the Reginald Sultan. Oh, whatever. Thank you very, very much. Your gift to FB is all the daylight hours. Here's some money. Thank you so much. Yeah, she doesn't like any weather at all. There is no weather that Feedee likes. What happened to my hair? It's because it's humid. I have to go to bed in curlers to get this. Well, not this, but I go to bed in curlers. Your dad had a domestic repair shop. People would bring kettles, irons, hairsprays, etc. for him to fix. We need to start. Yeah, we do. We do. I'm pretty sure I live halfway between where you live and your new home. Dad was military, so we're supposed to end up in Salisbury, end up in a major port city instead. Ah, sounds possible. Sounds possible. 500 plushies. Yeah. My youngest, who both my children are on the spectrum, but my youngest has an affinity with plushies and has kept every plushie they've ever had, ever, and also is very much a person who acquires plushies. And we have so many plushies. So many plushies. We have at least 50 fugglers. I have probably a good 20 squishmallows. It's yeah, we have so many plushies, and they're all in decent condition, and they can't come with us. They cannot come with us. Cryptnik. Just a couple of weeks ago, I had a perfume I didn't like anymore. Gave it to my best friend, and what do I know? It was her absolute favourite perfume. Hasn't been produced for a few years. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Our apartment is almost entirely furnished by trash, pretty much just as the mattress, cat furniture, office chair were purchased. Yeah, apart from mattresses, bed bases. No, no need. No, we're not being able to keep all the plushies at all. No. Not stalking you, just that there's a few good car pizzas near me. Yeah, it's mostly plushies and weird stuff I've acquired throughout the years. I've got a fair amount of wigs, as you know. Lots of random things. I've got a tens machine that's been used once because it was meant to be for my backache, but obviously tens machines make your muscles contract, and that didn't go with my paraspinal muscle spasms, because when they happen, they constrict my spine, and the TENS machine basically made those muscles do the same thing. So I actually was one of the few people that was actually in worse pain than I was before I started. Do I live near the ocean? Not currently. Will I live near the ocean? Nearer an ocean, but very much close to the English Channel soon. There you go, that's me being cryptic. Being landlocked is 3 days minimum drive to the ocean, and I would love to see it. I live near rivers, a lot of rivers, but it's been many years since it's in the ocean. But I will be within reasonable travelling distance of ocean and very much within walking distance of the Channel Tunnel. The English Channel. The English Channel. Oh, good grief, my brain doesn't work. Yeah. I'm going to end up in a very, very, very rural area. I've got forests on one side and pebble beaches on the other side and cliffs and bird sanctuaries, and it's going to be fan-bloody-tastic. Exactly my kind of area. You'd be curious to see some of the stuff you kind of get rid of. I bet you could sell. I am thinking of not live streaming the boot fair, obviously, because it's in a field, but I might film some of it. Obviously, not the people buying the stuff, but we'll see. We'll see. I'm not looking forward to doing this particular activity. I think it's going to be a bit hard, and you've got to be out for a long time and stuff like that. But it is a necessary evil to raise funds and to get rid of stuff at the same time. Moving for you and moving for Foodie have vastly different meanings. It's a stressful time for you. I wish you peace during the process. Legit love to you, Mrs. Kell. Thank you so much, Carolyn. I am hoping, and I'm pretty sure this will be the last move of my life. It is very much me moving to my retirement, although not literally retiring. I'm a few years off that, but it is the place I wish to, whatever long I've got, good 40 years possibly, if my mum's anything to judge by, a very peaceful, quiet, calm existence with lots of areas of nature to escape to, because nature is my happy place. My happy, absolutely the best, most memorable times of my life have all been in nature. The two most notable being one in Australia, where I was with a group of friends. We were just finished university, and so there is a system. I don't know if it's still applicable, but in the 90s, if you were under the age of 25, you could get a 1-year visa, working visa to Australia, as long as you didn't have a job for more than 3 months. You could go to Australia and work your way around. And we were in New South Wales cherry picking. And thank you so much, Liberty Pondu. Moving is hard, take things easy. Things have a way of working out. Get rid of a bunch of stuff and then you can get more stuff. I have got like so many craft things that I bought wanting to do. Tried once and thought, it's not me, or didn't even get round to doing. I have a lot of stuff for leather work. I have a lot of jewelry making stuff. I have soldering irons, glue guns, and blow torches and all things like that I have never used and had for like 5 or 6 years. And I've got to be realistic as to what hobbies I can undertake and keep with me, because I have like 5 hobbies already. I do embroidery, felting, sewing, cross stitch. I draw, I paint, I sculpt. I don't really need jewelry making, throwing pots, carpentry, metalwork. I'd really love to do blacksmithing stuff, which is really unrealistic because I don't have the stamina or or that kind of thing. So anyway, sorry, back to what I was talking about. We were in New South Wales and we were in the middle of bloody nowhere cherry picking. And a big group of us, including my friends, decided to go for a walk to look for kangaroos. And everybody, we all went for a walk. We walked for a very long time. And then everybody decided to go up this hill. And I decided not to. I'm not fond of inclines. I never have been, even more so now. So I decided to just sit. And so everybody disappeared. So I'm sat by myself in the middle of this field in complete silence in terms of traffic and people and stuff. And I was watching birds on the top of grass, jumping from grass to grass, which was beautiful. And just as I was watching these birds flitter along amongst the grass, this herd, is it a herd of kangaroo, came bouncing past me. And it was magical. And then when everybody returned from up the hill, they came down. I'm like, did you see any kangaroos? They're like, no, we didn't see any. I thought, I saw 10. And that was just a magical moment. And the other time was we were on an island, same group of friends, because we went to Thailand before, for 6 weeks before we went to Australia. So while we were in Thailand, we went to some islands off the south, not Phuket or anything like that, some more remote ones. And we hired some mopeds, which is an entirely different story. I'll maybe tell you another time. And we all went to this waterfall with this big lake thing, and the water was crystal. I mean, you could see all the way to the bottom. So while you're lying in this lake with this waterfall, you're watching all the fish swimming beneath you, and that was also magical. And then I crashed the moped on the way back. Okay, I'm struggling to do cross stitch and black work. My eyes are just getting too weak. I have undertook a monumental cross stitch project, which I've been on and off with. It's huge, and it's just cats, and it's taking me forever. I don't think I'll finish it this year, but it's there every so often when I'm not in the mood to do other things, because I go off hobbies or I overdo them and then lose the will and stuff. So I have a rotation of hobbies, and hobbies is actually a very good indication of my mood, because there are periods of times when I can go days and weeks without doing anything, and then you realize retrospectively that when I'm at that point where I'm not creating something, that the mood, the depression has gotten really bad, is a really good indicator of how I'm doing, is whether or not I'm creating stuff. Because that's also, I have to have hobbies. I have to create stuff. It's for my sanity. I have to be occupied. I have to. When you have ADHD, you need a distraction from the other things you're doing. Like, I'll be listening to something, but doing something at the same time while thinking about something else. So you've got to have many things going on at the same time, or else you're just going to stew in your intrusive thoughts and your nagging thoughts and thoughts you don't want to deal with at the time, or just start imagining stuff, you know. Irish eyes are smiling. I'm saying anything I have, give to my kids. I don't buy myself anything. Happiness doesn't come in material items. No, it doesn't. It doesn't. Happiness comes for seeing other people happy, making other people happy, being comfortable in your own skin, with who you are, knowing that you're at least not a negative in the world, I think is the best way I can put it, without sounding sort of all sort of up yourself or arrogant. I'm of the philosophy that we come into the world and the world is in a certain state when you arrive, and when you leave this world, if the world is a slightly better place because of your existence in it, then you've done your job. It should be better for you being there, and that kind of applies to a lot of situations. Things should be better for you being there. Other people's experiences or day improve. Pay a compliment. If you see somebody and you like something about them, tell them. You know, it does no net disadvantage, no negative in this. You can literally change somebody's day. You can change somebody's life. You can just make an animal's life better. You can just, you know. Do your children have ADHD? I've passed it on. Can I sit in the same room with somebody eating a carrot? That's got a different name. The thing that when noises bothers you has a different name, and I can never remember it. It begins with M. My ex had it. Absolutely could not tolerate being in the same room with somebody eating an apple. Would make him irrationally angry. Although he was an angry person anyway. My children do not have ADHD. My children both have autism. Not. I mean, we're all on the spectrum. We are all on the spectrum. My mother's definitely on the spectrum, although obviously it was only until recently that she sort of realised it. Hasn't really acknowledged it. There is a lot of autism in my family, particularly my cousins and the like. It's just you know, it's us. It's who we are. Lots of dyslexia as well. Fair amount of asthma also, oddly enough. Genetics is a weird thing. Eating noises make you almost go insane. I can't stand ill manners with eating, which is ironic considering who I cover, but not in the I can't help it category. As in, that's it, misophonia. Yeah. I blanked. I absolutely categorically blanked then. See, I was just thinking about, apart from my eggs, I don't think either of my children have that with sounds. My kids are, one of my children is very, very, very sensitive to smells, very sensitive to smells. Whereas the other one is very, very, very particular about textures of things. Amongst many, 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 many other things. So yeah, we're an interesting group of individuals. Let's say. I don't know where to go with this conversation. Yes, both my children are autistic. I have ADHD. I didn't realize I had ADHD and didn't get a diagnosis. I didn't even bother, didn't even consider it until it started being very obvious that my children were more on some sort of spectrum. Had I not had children, I probably could have spent my entire life not realizing. I actually cannot stand eating noises. Imagine my face when I moved in with my partner and discovered she chews with her mouth open. When you love somebody, though, there are certain, you can overlook things. Mac Mooney, all of your kids have ADHD like you. Yeah, and the thing is, the thing that got me once I knew is it's not like how it's portrayed or was portrayed in fiction, you know, this rowdy, can't sit still, hyperactive, you know. Oh, there's so much more nuance than that. It's so much more nuance than that. I'm 26 years old and 13-year-olds are both highly dyslexic. I have dyscalculia, but I do math for a living though. Yeah, it's funny that because I'm dyslexic, but I was a journalist. And I proofread and copy edited other people's work as well. It's funny. It's funny what you end up in. You're funny about textures like rubbing textures, walls, and a self-soothing, very soft family lampiers. Yeah, I mean, stiff shoes. Shoes can't be stiff, and they've got to fit exactly. They can't be a little bit too big. And I am a quantifiably no socks person. Don't like socks. And velvet with my kids, or stiff material, or waistbands, tights. Categorically, none of my kids can wear tights. They can wear leggings, but not tights. Something to do with the feet makes it different. It's so many bits and pieces, and one of my kids has very black and white thinking, and if you can't convince them of a thing and why the thing is as it is, they won't accept, the explanation. So when it comes to the injustices in the world and stuff, they're very, very much, don't understand why people act the way they do and things like that. And it's a learning curve. Socks, no. The psychology behind how Feedee eats fascinates me, from the tongue scooping to the chewing of the food guarding. The scooping, where she goes out to catch, is literally to avoid missing anything. She's not good at it at all. But now she's deliberately and performatively eating messily, particularly from Ryder, and particularly when it comes to desserts and cream stuff. Amber Lynn too. I'm almost ashamed by how actually fascinated I am by them. It's almost scientific. It's an entirely scientific way. Entirely scientific. The entire reason that I did the first video I did was purely because there was a lot of psychology in Amber that I noticed through watching her that nobody else was mentioning on channels. And I was just like, I had an itch in the back of my head saying, yeah, but she's got NPD. She's got NPD. Don't you see, and I just wanted to explain, just to get rid of the itch in the back of my head. I mean, it's a weird way to start a channel. It's because you had an itch that wouldn't go away and you just had to make a video to tell the people that you're not seeing this bit. It's just, that's what ADHD does to you. You get a thought in your brain and it will not go away until you've acted upon it. And it can be weeks or months. Absolutely. And it can really interfere. It'd be like, I'll be downstairs and something really, really, really needs doing. Absolutely, categorically. Has to be a priority. But my brain will be, why don't you rearrange your bedroom? And I'll be like, no, I've got to do this. I can't do two things. I'm not physically able to do two things. Let me do this. It's important. No, rearrange the bedroom. Go on. You know you want to. It'll make your life better, rearranging the bedroom. It's like it doesn't need to be rearranging. It's clean. It's tidy. It's whatever. Let me do this thing. No, bedroom. And 3 weeks later, it'll be like, I haven't done the thing. I haven't done anything. And my brain still wants me to rearrange the bedroom. So I have to rearrange the bedroom so I can go on to the thing I have to do. Kenza, please don't exhaust yourself too much. Can't believe how fast nearly 2 hours have gone by. Oh, wow, yeah. Oh, I can talk when I want to. Yeah, you should see me out in public. I'm almost mute. Maybe you have ADHD? So many things that you will assume everybody does or has, and it turns out they don't. You'll be surprised. Honestly, I have spent 45 years of my life thinking everybody was like me to an extent, but not dyslexic. I thought that was the only reason I was slightly off center in terms of was the dyslexia. I did used to say I think my brain is wired differently, but I just thought that was because I was creative. I'm just a creative person. No, well I am, but I also got ADHD. And once I realised, it explained so much of school to me. So much made sense. I mean, if you suspect, just read about it and something will or will not click. I'm just glad to see you're doing it okay. As can be, PC, appreciate the live stream. Probably I'm avoiding doing something in parts. Probably. Actually, the live stream was motivated in part of the stupid avatar that Feedee did. And I just thought it was so hilarious that I had to do my own to see what would come up. And then, you've got to use it, haven't you? Yeah. And I wasn't going to use it for a video. No, I needed some special sort of something. And also because Feedee's literally done nothing yesterday that's worth commenting on at all. And I'd just started making videos again, and then she does one day where there's nothing you can say about it. So I thought, I'll just come on and talk. And whatever's in my brain will come out, and all the bits that have been in my brain but I can't fit into videos because the moment has gone or it's just an observation that I've randomly had will come out. And Foxy Roxy, my biggest one was that I thought everybody thought in steps. When I explained it to my husband, who was confused, and then I realized not everybody sees every task steps. Another one, which is great, is ask somebody how they do a maths. And it'll be 73 plus 28. How do you add 73 to 28? Well, I'll go, 70 and 20 is 90, and then I've got 8 and 3, which is 11. So now I've got 80 and 11, and I can add 8 and 11 together to make 91. Not the, or I was very much a person that would go off on tangents at uni and stuff, and quite possibly come to the same conclusion as the right answer was, but not in the way that you were meant to. I remember doing my GCSE maths, and instead of using formulas, like if you're at point A and you go to point B via point C, what's the angle between? And instead of doing the formula, I draw a scale model of it and then measure it. And I get the right answer every time. But I'm not using the formula. I'm drawing a scale model of the question to find the answer. And apparently nobody else does that. Well, I'm sure lots of people do that, but just not people who, Blue Jay, I'm the same way with math. I'll take away one number to make the other one number a derivative of 10 and then add them. Yeah, exactly. And also just numbers. It's like, when you have your volume on in the car, does it have to be an even number? Except 15 counts. 15 is a good number. So it can be 10, 12, not 14 though, but 15. Then 16, 18, 20. 15's an even number. But I have to have my volumes on an even number. It's all sorts of weird little quirky bits. Sorry. Exactly. I always got the right answers, but my way of getting them wasn't the right way. So when you started having to show how you got to the answer, suddenly I wasn't good at math anymore or physics anymore. No, it's not fair. If you get the right answer, you get the right answer. Doesn't matter how you get it. My husband says I have ADHD. He'll send me to get a hammer if I'm helping, and I'll come back with a sandwich for him. Come back at all. Yeah, also they're being distracted. Easily distracted from stuff. Conversation-wise, and also I butt in a lot, and I know it's rude to butt in, but I'll have an idea, and I have the idea now, or I'll remember something, I remember it now, and if it doesn't come out, it'll be gone. Yeah, there's so many bits. 15 is a good number because it's half of 10. I don't know why 15 is an honorary even number, but it just is. I don't know if 25 works. 25 works, doesn't it? And 30, but 30 is an even number. Anyway, multiples of 5 work. Yeah, multiples of 5 work. They educated the ability out of you. Oh, you do that too. I can't help but finish people's sentences because it's my way of showing that you're listening and understanding. Yeah, apparently, when somebody tells you they're going through a particularly bad thing, and you respond by saying you're also going through a very similar bad thing because you want them to understand that you understand, to some people that's rude and you trying to outdo them. But it's all rare. The problem with show your work is that they're teaching techniques and that the student's going to need them later in math. It feels stupid at the time, but there's reasons for it. Phat Cow. Yeah, that's me. Sorry, I just read my name out loud. I have a friend who is a tangent queen. She needs reminding where she started from. Yeah, I'm forever forgetting. I'm terrible at remembering to do stuff. Absolutely awful at remembering to do stuff, or remembering to tell somebody something, or remember, and I'm very much an out of sight, out of mind individual. Even when it comes to friends, if it's not in front of me, it doesn't exist, which is why I forget stuff so much. And I can forget some really, really crucially important stuff, like doctor's appointments and really important stuff I can forget if it's not in front of me. And I've also got a habit of, if I've got to do something on a certain date, say it's Tuesday the 13th of whatever, and for some reason I've misunderstood and I thought it was a Thursday. That the 13th of that month was a Thursday, not a Tuesday. I remember, not that I've got to do this thing on the 13th, but I've got to do something on the second Thursday of the month. And my brain will categorically not accept any other date than the second Thursday of the month and not the 13th of the month, which is actually a Tuesday. I have missed a court date for something because my brain decided it was on a Thursday, the third Thursday of that particular month, and not on the actual day, which was the day before a Wednesday. My brain decides, my brain fixates, my brain remembers that, but I've remembered it wrong. And it's caused me a lot of issues. I've had to download a productivity app called Finch to make sure I did what I needed. It's the only one that works because it's a cute bird and I don't want to disappoint it. It's funny how that works. I don't want to lie to my calorie tracker because for some reason I think it will get annoyed at me. Weird, isn't it? I can't stand to watch people struggle with something that I don't, yeah, you know how to do. Like, for example, turning off the Wi-Fi on your phone, object to psychological pain. I have to clench from helping. Or if they're not doing it the way you do it, even though the way you do it is a special way that seems to only work for you. Yeah. If what you do gets the job done, who cares if it's a different way? Really, seriously. My ex was very much about that. If it wasn't done his way, it was wrong, even if the end result was exactly the same. So we didn't. No, yeah, we two people should not have been together at all. I don't know. Well, I know how that works. I know exactly how it ended up that way. How we ended up together. It's because I'm a chronic people pleaser. I hope I've gotten over it now, but I don't know. I won't know unless I have another relationship, and I don't plan on doing that. I always feel I've done something wrong and someone is angry at me. I know I'm so I work most effectively in fear. So if I have a job and I'm intimidated by my boss, I'm brilliant at the job. Or if one of my teachers I'm scared of, they'll get my homework. And the one that's really nice to me doesn't. I work on fear. Fear is my biggest motivator, or disappointing somebody, or thinking they're going to get angry with me. That's one, that is my biggest way of getting things done. Do the kids have a relationship with their dad? No. Categorically, no. They do not want one with him either. They don't want anything to do with him at all. And it's not because of stories I've told them. I made a point of not talking about him until they were teenagers. And by that point, they'd already decided much sooner than that they didn't want him around anyway. So, no relationship at all. Don't want, never will, never. No intention of. Nope. Don't say please and thank you to AI. Thousands of gallons of water are lost every week to just getting your AI to respond to please and thank you. Oh, that is a very good point, actually. That is a very good point. Thank you, Porcelain. I don't know. This whole AI business is, I don't know. This smartphones, smart computers, smart cars, smart fridges, stupid people, basically. We are. Did you know? Kind of same topic, that the current generation of which I can't remember. Gen Z. Gen Z are the first generation in recorded history that are less intelligent than the generation before them. We are now devolving. But don't worry, Teardrop is worse than all of us. Yes. As is Feedee. I do say sorry to inanimate objects I bump into. And yes, I do it a lot. Yeah, no, I know. Yeah, we are, quantifiably, categorically devolving again. Oh, thank you so much, Countess Markievich. That is incredibly kind of you. Absolutely incredibly kind of you. Yorkshire Boomer, I was brought up to be motivated by fear and shame. The first time I encountered something different as a young teenager, it changed my life. Yeah, it's not. Oh, good. I'm in the smartest generation. That's not good. I really counted on you to be better than me. No, the thing is, if you look at children now and what they can and can't do and what they're being taught to do, I was shocked. It's going to sound quite dramatic, but both my kids were allowed to take calculators. They actually had in their GCSE math a paper specifically to be done with calculators. Calculators. They can't do fractions at all, and they can barely do long division. Fractions. Fractions are kind of important, I think. You know, it's, it's going backwards because everything does it for you now. And AI thinks for you. I've written, as an experiment, an entire script using AI once. It just, with a few prompts, it can do the entire job for you. You can even ask it to do it in the same manner that you yourself speak. You just ask it to watch a few of your own videos and stuff. It's incredible. They no longer teach cursive. Do you remember those books that had the 5 lines? And you were taught first in pencil. And once you got good enough, you got a fountain pen. I hated those pens with a little cartridge of ink that you put in. They leaked everywhere. It's awful. Yeah, but that video was the speech was entirely written by AI. Honestly, you asked it to be casual and whatever, and oh my goodness, thank you so much. Oh, thank you, Judy. You're so incredibly kind, and that is an incredibly sweet gift. Gift? It is a sweet gift, but it's also a very sweet gift. Thank you so much. Mac Mooney, I know my kids cannot read my handwriting because my kids' handwriting, oh no. If they slow down, if they concentrate, yeah, but they write so quickly as well. But they can type like, oh my goodness me. It's incredible how fast they can type. I was in the job market, I was expected to type like 60 to 80 words a minute, and you'd have the test and things like that. But I think my kids must do at least 100 words a minute, if not more. Actually, a lot more than 100 words a minute. It's wow. Cursive isn't hard to learn, Porcelain, but it can be quite difficult to read, and I think it's the reading that people are struggling with now. But they don't teach cursive anymore. No. No, there's a lot of things I don't teach anymore. Without cursive, you could never read ancestral stuff to search your history. You can't read any historical documents. It's already getting tough because their cursive was a little different. Not one of my kids, blah, 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 have ever taken a class on computers in Sakabachin public schools. When I left school after doing my O-levels in 1991, the school that I was at actually got a computer lab. And there was computers at my university, but this was pre-internet. You could chat between other computers. Obviously, there's no worldwide anything, but mostly it was for typing up things. The first time I used the internet proper work-wise was actually when I was in the Middle East. Prior, prior to that was floppy disks to get your work from one place to another. Oh, I've done 2 hours. Okay, another 10 minutes, and I think maybe, because I can talk for hours, but I'm not convinced I'm that entertaining. I'm Gen X and functional in cursive writing and basic computer programming. My job in part, obviously I was a journalist, but also because I have many strings to my bow, I was also a graphic designer. I started off designing magazine layouts. So I could do the writing for the magazine and actually do the layouts for the magazine as well, which made me very useful in the Middle East because, I had one person that could do 2 jobs. And I started off with this thing called Quark, which is very archaic. Actually, I started off with Quark in England. My first graphic design job was for the Ministry of Defence. It was for one of the magazines for one of the branches of the army. So it wasn't interesting stuff. Lots of obituaries, lots of people getting medals, lots of we did this in this country in terms of building stuff or things. And then after the Quark, it was something called Freehand, and that doesn't exist anymore. So my graphic design skills in terms of on the computer are very, very, very much defunct because the computer programs have way surpassed anything I was doing at that time. Someone says AI and floppy disks. Me, have both. I'm willing to trade for green cards, please. And ladies, please help Immigrant Canada. I still have a floppy disk somewhere of the first things I did in terms of work. Please tell us how in the world you did your own tattoos. You're fascinated by looking in a mirror. Obviously for stuff. My legs I just drew on. Well, for my 50th birthday, I asked my mum to get me a tattoo pen because they're easier to use than tattoo guns. And I just do things when I was bored. And then one day my ADHD brain decided I wanted to tattoo my forehead. And after many, many, many months of me ignoring my ADHD brain telling me that what I wanted most in the world was a tattoo on my forehead, ta-da! Obviously, it's a bit more nuanced than that, but it did become a thought in the back of my head. How do you relax your face while inflicting pain on it? I never thought about that. I do have an unusually high pain tolerance, which is actually quite a good thing considering I have fibromyalgia. I don't know. It doesn't actually, here doesn't hurt nearly as much as the top of your foot hurts. I can promise you that. She lives in pain. It's normal for her. Yes, actually. I mean, that's the truth. That's the truth. There isn't a single moment that I'm not hurting somewhere, but I've always had a very high tolerance anyway. 75% of my piercings I did myself as well. What can I say? Yeah. It's really a lot easier to tolerate. Yeah, because you know it's coming. If you're doing it to yourself, you know it's coming. There's no surprise, there's no shock, there's no whatever. It's and to be honest, tattoos aren't nearly as bad as some people. Okay, they're not nearly that bad for me. Um, as for some people, the very, very first tattoo I had, it was in May of 1992. And it was a relatively large one for my first one. And the tattooist at the time said that I was incredibly easy to tattoo. Um, I don't bleed much. It's just I'm somebody who's okay with it. I mean, I went with one friend once. They got the outline of a cross and refused to get any more done. She lasted as long, and it was a tiny cross as well, to get it done so it was something, and categorically couldn't tolerate it any longer. Mac Mooney, I'm good at ignoring pain and relaxing my body. When I was in labour with my kids getting an epidural, they were amazed I didn't flinch during contractions. Yeah, when I was at the hospital, people were because I had I don't know if I showed you a picture. I had to have so many IV things put into me because they kept failing because my blood pressure was really, really low, and for some reason, and so I had 8. Are they catheters or whatever? I had 8 of those done in a space of 12 days. And obviously the first one that goes is not, they're the ones that were successful. I got stabbed all the time with needles, all the time. And everybody was so surprised, though, the nurses, of how I didn't react to it at all. And it's not a boast or anything. It was just, I just said, look, all things considered, how often this has to be done. And actually, it's a really good job I don't react, to be fair. I even told him, if you can't do it there, just do the top of my foot. And they're like, well, we'd rather not do that. I mean, part of the issue was they didn't want to do it on the black. So this arm was very much abused. I had them coming out of my hand and just further up my arm and stuff. And in the end, I had to have a significantly bigger one put in by a trainee surgeon using an ultrasound. Yeah. So no, it's a good job I have a high pain tolerance, really. It's so hard to describe pain levels to doctors as chronic pain. No, I know. Because the thing is, when pain reaches a level that you can't function, I can't function anymore. For me, that's a different level entirely. I mean, how do you, on a scale of 1 to 10, describe your pain when you're always in pain? So therefore, anything worse, you would consider like 3, but that's but on the chart, it's, I don't know, it's very hard. It's very hard. I was an enigma to the doctors. They couldn't understand all the things because I would twitch a lot when stressed. When I'm particularly having a really bad flare, or I start to twitch. I even when I think about it, I start twitching. It's weird. If I think about twitching, I twitch. I am stupid because it looks like I'm doing it on purpose now. And you think whatever, but it's weird. And I would have such violent reactions to really little things nobody could understand. But then at the stuff you're expected to have a reaction to, I had nothing. I was trying to explain it's my fibromyalgia. My nervous system doesn't work properly. It overreacts. It's historic. It's histrionic. It's it exaggerates. It's whatever. Because my responses to things were just so weird. I've said you've got to bear in mind, yes, I've got this problem in my gallbladder, but I have this other thing that makes everything else really weird too. Doctors were doing an exam in order to start labour. It's overdue, 6 centimetres dilated. Jenny thought I had normal stomach ache. Oh, good grief. Oh, wow. I have not experienced a single labour pain in my life. My first child was a C-section because at 42 weeks, they were still in there. They hadn't descended and they were facing the wrong way and they had a large head. And then my second child was also a C-section because at 38 weeks, they were pressed on my sciatic nerve and I was in so much pain. They said, well, she's already cooked. They're already cooked. Let's get them out now. So, no, I've had a single labour pain in my life. My chronic pain makes me feel useless. I used to be so active and get so much done I can't do now, especially in the winter. I know exactly how that feels, I'm afraid. I used to run 5 kilometres every morning. Every morning. I don't think I can actually run now. I don't think it's a thing I'm capable of, is actually running or jogging. I haven't tried to even, I walk at about 2 miles per hour. Yeah. I just learned that if I was in very still and pain hit, things were better just pull inside myself. I can feel like I'm screaming on the outside, inside, but still on the outside. Doctor once taught me a gnarly kidney stone. One thing was feeling a tickle in my side compared to the usual thin pain. Any stones your body does are just evil, in my opinion. And I will leave it at that. 2 C-sections as well. First, toxemia and preeclampsia. Son, I started out baby. Second, took out too soon. US women go through things. Ooh, got me on 5K, me beauty with walk 2 steps that sound like Darth Vader's. There was once upon a time. Once upon a time. Oh well. There's not much I can say. There's not much I can say to that. It's the life I've been given, and just I try to do the best I can. And I forgive myself when I can't, and I try not to be too hard on myself. That's the best thing you can do, is be kind to yourself and forgive yourself. It's not your fault you're in this situation. You treat yourself how you treat other people who are struggling. Be kind. And to the best of your ability, now this was a hard lesson for me to learn, as in it wasn't a difficult lesson, it was difficult for me to do it. Don't feel guilty when you can't do things. Don't feel guilty. Don't feel bad about resting. You're not being lazy. You are actively doing what's best for you. So be kind to yourself. Drop the guilt. And that's it. That's all you can do. Oh, thank you. My voice is so calming. When I hear myself on things, though, I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Especially with us women, we're taught we're supposed to take care of everybody around us and then forget to take care of things. It took me a long time not to feel bad about resting, not to feel guilty about resting. It took me a really, really long time. Too long. I mean, at times I'm not good still at allowing myself to rest. And I do have a tendency to push myself too far because I am an incredibly stubborn individual. I'm incredibly stubborn. I like to finish things when I start them, and that's always to my detriment. when I'm cleaning up. I don't, I can't just walk away, and it's but I'm better than I was, and I will be better. That's all I can say. Every day, you just do the best you can for yourself. Yeah, patience with everybody but yourself. Exactly. And you forget you're allowed to rest. And it's not being lazy, no. Resting is not being lazy. Resting is not being selfish. Resting is doing the best for yourself and other people. Because as they say, you cannot pour from an empty cup. Thank you so much, Misty Waters. That is great. And that little dude, is he a lemon? A lemon macro. You know what I'm trying to say, don't you? Thank you for your time and good luck with your task. Take care. All women definitely seem stronger than an awful lot of men, in my opinion. It's a different strength. It's a very, very different strength. As equal as, but it's a very different strength. That's kind of been put on us, Bo. If you know what I mean. You've got to give your body some grace. It's trying. It's bad when your husband is 81, wish heart failure, and no understanding anything about my fibro. Horrible. It's bad when your husband is 81 with heart failure and no understanding anything. Yeah, that is a very bad situation to be in. And when you have a family member who doesn't acknowledge your health issues, thinking that literally thinking you can fix it if you just tried, that hurts. That hurts. Mentally stronger than physical. There is a certain resilience that at least my generation, preceding generations, and maybe a couple of generations further down the line were raised to have a certain fortitude. I'm not confident enough to say maybe that's shifting a bit, but we can help. Thank you, 1947, Linda Lou. Thank you. That's brilliant. Only the one brain cell, though. It's now been proven that women have higher pain tolerances than men. Yeah, it has. Yeah, categorically. But that's because of childbirth predominantly. I mean, if our tolerance to pain was low, then the whole baby thing would be very much an issue. Thanks for the chat. It's time I got moving by. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you for being here. And I think I will try and round off with a good 2:20 and 0 seconds because I like round numbers. Speaking of liking round numbers, when you go to self-checkout and they ask you if you want to donate to round up your final price to an even number, that's designed for people like me who like even numbers. It gets me every time. I always round up because I like even numbers. It's very cheeky and very clever of them, I'd like to say. Salah's trophy wife, welcome to the barbarian herd. Have a good afternoon and summer solstice and chat. Yes, have a very good summer solstice. It is the longest daylight day we have. Getting your IUDs inserted without anaesthetics is without some of the worst pain I've ever had. If men had to regularly go through that, we'd be getting sedated. I had no anaesthesia or anything like that. It wasn't given to me as an option. It wasn't a thing. I didn't even know it was a thing. For me, the worst pain categorically was the gallstones. Categorically the worst pain I've ever had. Unquestionably. Keep forgetting what your shtick is and wondering what the hell you're on about. Oh, Susan Selbot. This has been an awesome chat. Thanks for hosting this. You are more than welcome. I'm going to go. Let's hope. Oh, thank you so much, Kathy, with a kicking K and the pair. Hopefully, either Feedee will say something I can comment on and elaborate on, or I will. Hey PC, you mentioned your move is a 6-hour drive. You move further north. No, I am going from the southeast to the southwest of the UK. And I am very happy about that. I'm going to be surrounded by nature. Absolutely. Oh, I've missed the 220 in 0 seconds. Still 220 though. Okay. Thank you so much. You guys have been absolutely effing phenomenal. I might do this again sometime because I actually really enjoyed myself. I've actually given myself a sore throat. This is the most I've spoken in one go for a long time. Thank you so much. Brilliant. Loved it. Great atmosphere. Very much a companionship. Very much camaraderie. Brilliant. Absolutely. Surprisingly, not toxic at all. I mean, who'd have thought that was even possible? A 2 and a bit hour live and no toxicity at all. Not a single one. Wow. All right. You guys been fantastic. Brilliant. Made my day. I hope all of you who have their father and gets to spend time with them has a wonderful day tomorrow. To those who no longer have fathers, you are in my thoughts. To those who have never interacted with their father, like myself, don't know him, never met him, no idea, not a clue. Do something nice for yourself. Go on, why not? Have a great day. Happy solstice. Happy everything else. I hope all of you stay well and happy, and you and your loved ones stay well and happy, and your pets are well and happy, and life around you is calm and other stuff. Thank you so much. Thank you.